you on a trip to the south side. Old school, big rims, that's how we.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Candid Conversations. This is a platform where real people have real conversations about issues that affect our community. Today, we have a great group of people here that are going to talk about this state of Black America. It's a check in on us. You should go to the doctor every year, annually. I hope everyone goes to the doctor at least once a year. So we're just checking in on our people, see how we're doing, what we're getting right, what we're getting wrong, where we can pat ourselves on the back for. So we're just going to check in and just see how we're doing. Tonight we have a few very special guests, and we have Antonio Ford, who I like to say is a nutritionist. He owns his
Oh,
own business. He's an author. He is a husband, which is actually one of his most important roles. He is a father, and I'm going to let him introduce himself as well. I just wanted to give a few tidbits that I just know and love about Tony. We also have Mr. Leno Bradby. He is an extraordinary young man. Leno is super hardworking. We're actually colleagues. We worked on a show together a few years back. And he's just a creative. He's hardworking. He's super organized. He's actually one of the most organized men that I know. Like, he's more organized than me. It's just insane. So Leno is one of those guys. If I ever had my own company or ever really did something, I'm like, Leno, are you available? Leno, I don't care what it is. I could open up a bakery. Hey, Leno, you want to? Hey, I don't care. I just want Leno on my team. Okay, he's just that guy. I graduated from Clarkland University, and like I said before, he currently works in the film and television industry. We also have the beautiful Miss Leena with us
thank
this
you.
evening.
Thank
Yes,
you.
she works former law enforcement officer, and she currently owns her own business. And of course, I'm going to give everyone an opportunity to tell more about themselves before we delve into the few topics that we're going to discuss tonight. So I'll go ahead and allow Leena to start with a
Oh,
introduction and let the people know a little bit about yourself.
well, hi there, everybody. My name is Lena Parks. As LaDwania said, I am a former law enforcement officer. I've been in law enforcement. I don't want to say my age. I graduated from the academy when I was 21. I'm now, let's see, we'll say about 19 years I've been in law enforcement. Approximately 2 years ago, I got my business license, and I've been promoting a nonprofit organization called Lifeline Health Options, Inc. And what we do is provide free physical fitness, nutrition programs, and other health options to those that have been diagnosed with medical illnesses. It's my website is also a platform for those that are primarily in the health field and may be able to help in any type of way, so they can advertise if they'd like. That's what I do. I
Sounds
consider
great.
it God's work. So
I
yeah.
love it. Definitely need it. We definitely need a business like yours in our community. And health is just a huge issue. And I'm so glad that I asked you to be here tonight because you're going to provide a wealth of knowledge that's going to help our viewers get healthy, stay healthy, and get on the right track. So thank you so much, Lena.
I'm honored. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay, Mr. Antonio.
Yes, indeed. I'd like to welcome Leo, Lena, my dear cousin LaDwania. The welcome mat is beautiful, and I definitely want to welcome back. My name is Antonio Ford, aka the Food Lord, and I'm pretty much on the planet trying to, advocate positivity. So I own a cleaning company. I've written 8 books and a DVD. I'm a master nutritionist. I show people how to open up their arteries to elude all kinds of health dilemmas and boost the immune system. I just love being me, being positive, being an example that I am. And the biggest part is just being a great family man, you know what I mean? My wife, my children, my dog, and life is just good. Yes.
Love to hear it. I love to hear it. And Yes, Antonio is an author, a published author. I happen to have one of his books on hand right here.
First book from a nigga to a god.
He said it, I didn't. From an
Yes,
N
indeed.
You
word
said
to a
what?
God.
What?
Yeah.
This is his personal story, you guys. It's a, I say, a hood story. You know, he is not ashamed of his past, because your past absolutely has a lot to do with where you are in your future. You know, you
Of
live and you
course.
learn. Experience is a good teacher, and I believe his past life is definitely instrumental into him just raising his family up. How he raises his family today. Tony did spend some time in prison, and you know, he's learned from that. He tells how it happened, when it happened. I mean, he gets really graphic in this book, y'all. This should actually be a movie right here. So Leno, I'm gonna go ahead, I'm gonna send you a copy of this right here. Okay, that should be a good movie. But I definitely
Yeah.
appreciate Tony being so open, like even on his social media. It's just however he's feeling that day, what he wants to share. So that's why I said it, because I know he doesn't mind the viewers and anyone listening to know his story, that he spent some time in jail, and he's just that guy. You know, a really quick story about Tony. It's so funny that he's a nutritionist and he's eating beans and lettuce and, you know, sprouts all the time, because literally, like, Tony is my older cousin, like real cousin. Our mothers are sisters, right? And I remember being stuck at the table with a plate of lima beans, right? I don't want no lima beans. To this day, I don't like lima beans. Okay. Tony knocks on the back kitchen door. I guess this was some point he was kicked out the house, left the house, whatever. But he knocking on the kitchen door. I let him in. He see me stranded with the lima beans. He goes and feed my lima beans to the dog and gives me
The
some.
dog ate the lima
The
beans?
dog
Yes,
ate the
indeed.
beans.
I'm surprised.
And Tony gave me some candy. So he quickly became my favorite cousin. Okay. Thank you for that.
He saved you.
He saved
Wow.
me. But the crazy thing is, today, he literally gave his son a watermelon with some candles on it and said, "Happy birthday."
For his
Did he
birthday.
like it? Did he like
Yes, he
it?
liked it. LaDuanya ain't think he liked it, but he liked
I
it.
was like, I'm going to send him some cake. So I just
Yeah.
thought that's so funny. The guy who threw away my beans and gave me candy is now giving beans to the masses. So hats off to you. See how he did a 180? He just turned that thing
Beans
right
is
on
the new
around.
meat.
Yeah,
Right,
for
that's
real.
protein. Right.
Beans is definitely the new meat.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So Lena, tell us a little bit more about yourself.
So, welcome everybody. I'm Leno Bradby. I'm a creative. I'm a writer. I work in film and television production. I'm currently the production manager, manager of production for Deliverable Administration for Tyler Perry Studios. So, we kind of have what that means. We kind of have a hand in every project that he does, from TV shows, plays to movies. We kind of on board. We follow that process all the way to until it's delivered to the network. So yeah, I'm just writing my own stuff. I'm actually just joined the WGA. I just wrote a script for a TV show, so that should air
Congratulations.
this year. I'm working on my own scripts. I'm actually working on a book right now that I'm trying to motivate myself to finish. But yeah, just trying to make it in this day and time as a young black man.
Absolutely. And you're doing it well. You're doing it well.
Thank you.
So, oh, absolutely. He really is. So, our first topic, what I want to talk about is our health. Okay. I didn't even know that health was something that Lena was into, although I do know that you work out and everything, but I didn't know that that was your business. So, this works out perfectly. But I did a little research and found out that African Americans, we are living longer than we were, 17 years ago. We're doing a little better, in that
Mhm.
area. We're more of us are living past the age of 65, so we could pat ourselves on the back for that. However, we're still, we still have some issues. There's heart disease, there's hypertension, diabetes. We're dying like 2 times as more than our white counterparts in those
Mhm.
areas, heart disease, hypertension, and diabetes, right? So, Tony, I ask you, what 5 to 7 items can we, stock our refrigerators and our pantries up to help, combat those issues of hypertension and heart disease and
Well, one thing I noticed about most of the diseases today is that people won't eat healthy foods.
Right.
One of the prime reasons we don't eat healthy foods is because healthy isn't advertised to us. You ride down the street, you see McDonald's. You ride down to the next block, you see Wendy's. Ride down to the next block, it's Mama Song. Ride down to the next block, it's the liquor store. So when you have all of these forces and then you turn on your television and you're watching your favorite show and then all of a sudden a commercial come on, we got meat.
Yeah.
all of the meat and stuff. So, but I encourage people, I always strive to encourage people to eat 5 major foods. One, eat a salad for breakfast. The reason that I say eat a salad for breakfast, because when you eat a salad, it's so loaded with nutrients, vitamins, and minerals that it sets your body in motion to move and operate as it's naturally supposed to do, as opposed to putting a dead breakfast in our stomach.
the
That
pancakes,
dead
the
breakfast,
bacon, and the eggs.
yes,
No bacon.
that's what I call that
None of
dead
that.
breakfast. That dead, when you eat that dead breakfast, yeah, you get full, you got that grease, but really you ready to go back to sleep. You know what I mean? So it don't give you the energy. That's why coffee became popular, because it awakens the brain from the sleepiness. But really what happens is our veins are closing
Mm-hmm.
on a dead diet. So as the veins are gradually getting smaller and smaller, blood and oxygen can't freely travel through it. You know how you get on your car and you drive on the highway and you see accidents or blockages, that prevent you from moving forward,
Right.
right? Well, inside of your veins is like a highway, and blood and oxygen drive through it. And you get blockages and accidents by having eating a high calorie diet or a fatty diet or a meat diet and not eating enough fruits, nuts, veggies, beans, and grains. So 5 foods I recommend that you consume. One, Brazilian nuts, because this food is not only a food, it's a superfood, but they don't categorize the Brazilian nut as a superfood. They categorize it as a powerhouse food because it's so powerful. Give me a couple of them.
Okay, Brazilian nuts. So
Brazilian nuts.
okay, so you said eat a salad for breakfast, and I want our viewers to listen and take notes
Yes.
because some people will take that away and say, "Bam, I'm gonna eat a salad for breakfast." They're gonna fry them chicken fingers, cut them up. They might have their tomatoes and cucumbers. They might rip up some ham and put it in there and add on the blue cheese or the ranch dressing.
Okay.
So let's
You
be
telling me to
specific. I'm
specify.
saying for your salad, grab some Brazilian nuts, okay, and leave the fried chicken tenders off of your salad, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
All right. So in your salad, I want you to have 2 things as the base of your salad. Either Swiss chard or spinach. In these 2 bases of your salad, I want you to put cucumbers in them. Make sure the cucumbers have seeds in them. Just check and make sure it has seeds in them. Then I want you to chop up some Brazilian nuts and just splash it over it. And that's your salad for breakfast. You can eat that, and then when you decide to eat your meat for lunch, that food, that dish right there is so powerful that it oxidates your veins and it breaks up the cholesterol. And think of it this way. If you put something at the base of your stomach, when you put that unhealthy food on your stomach, the unhealthy food will have something to fall on. So this is why it's so important to make the first meal of your day a super salad or something
Yeah, right.
healthy like oatmeal with berries,
Mhm.
blueberries, blackberries, raspberries, things of that nature. Or you can mince up nuts too and put inside of the oatmeal, sweeten it with honey, preferably. Or if you don't do the honey, if you do sugar, do the brown sugar. Okay. Um, the third food that I want to recommend is turmeric.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm.
reason I'm mentioning turmeric is because we eat so much meat. Our culture eats so much meat that this meat, after we eat it, it leaves what you call inflammation or cholesterol. And the cholesterol starts to chomp at your cartilage. That's why everybody getting hip and knee replacement because their cartilage is gone. Turmeric, this is a turmeric, fresh turmeric root. Turmeric eats up inflammation. If you know you eat meat every day, I suggest that you eat a piece of turmeric in the morning and in the evening.
Okay, now
Simply
I
by
take turmeric vitamins. Is that is just better just to go ahead and get the fresh turmeric? Am I doing
Get the
anything
fresh
with the
turmeric.
vitamins?
you remember Red Fox, and he was saying, "Oh, this the big one."
Yeah, and it
If you
really was.
notice, on every single solitary commercial that comes on, it
Mhm.
says this wonder drug, people dancing and smiling. And it says this wonder drug does this and it helps you to do that, right? Then it say it may cause your high blood pressure to rise.
Right,
It may cause you to get high cholesterol. Don't operate machinery. You
right.
might get a dry throat. Your eyes may get itchy.
All of
You
that
may have
stuff.
suicidal thoughts.
Right,
It may even cause sudden death.
Right. Yeah.
right,
Right.
Now it's a medication.
right.
Hmm.
All of the medication.
Like you might not have a headache no more, but you could die.
If all of the medications come with side effects,
Right.
let's think for a second outside the box.
Right.
Medicines coming with side effects. What is the vitamins coming with?
Right.
If you turn that vitamin bottle around that you're taking
Mhm,
and you read it, you
mhm.
know what that is going to say? The Food and Drug Administration have not approved these words,
Mhm.
or the has not approved
This vitamin.
these vitamins. Okay, so think of so when you think in terms of vitamins, think in terms of superfoods. Superfoods is where you get your vitamins. Brazilian nuts have so many nutrients in it. Swiss chard have so many nutrients in it. Turmeric have so many nutrients in it. I put out 2 new books 1 year. It would be a year next month. The Holy Bible of Superfoods
Okay, got it.
and
And
the Holy Quran of
of
Superfoods.
superfood. Okay, got
Are
you.
your books on Amazon?
My books are on Amazon.
Mhm.
Yeah, my books are on Amazon.
So Lena, I want to ask you, and
Oh,
oh, and Tony, you didn't say anything about no salad dressing. You know, black people love their dressings and
I
their
love a little
you
balsamic.
don't need dressing. You're
Just
I'm
right.
put
glad y'all. I'm
balsamic.
glad y'all
olive
asked that
oil.
question.
What we doing?
Hey, bring me that Swiss chard.
I need some sauce.
Most of the salad dressings today, and I say this in all sincerity on my own authority, most of the salad dressings today are more chemicals than food. This is
Chard.
Swiss chard,
Hmm.
and I just eat it raw.
Yep.
He does, y'all. He be on Facebook eating spinach or Swiss chard. I'm like,
When you come to salad dressings, I recommend that you just get you some salad, make your own salad dressing.
okay.
Because the salad dressing out of most of the conventional stores are
Mhm.
more chemical than food. So when you Google the ingredients, you'll be in awe. Their ingredients like blue 1, red 40, yellow number 5, yellow number 6, um, high fructose corn syrup.
Right.
These ingredients cause countless diseases, agitation, irritation, frustration, uh, uh, um, acne, and so much more. So this is why in 2021 and beyond, food should be our number one priority in terms of keeping this ultimate driving machine working in tune and up to par.
And so
So
that
make
we
your
can,
own salad dressings.
I'm sorry, what you saying?
Make your own salad dressings, and I always use a vinegar-based salad dressing. I never use a milk-based salad dressing.
Oh, no.
So like olive oil.
Olive oil, yes.
Okay.
Olive oil, vinegar, seasons. You can make a YouTube are loaded with countless videos that show you how to make salad dressings. It's very simple. In fact, I'm gonna make a video tomorrow and making some salad dressing. It's very simple and very easy. But one of the biggest tasks on the planet is knowing how to fuel you so that you can have the longevity and the mental fortitude or the mental strength or the immune system being strong enough to keep you strong and healthy and vibrant. And the stronger, the healthier you are, the better you feel. Most people today, this is the greatest danger that meat poses. Meat goes into our colon after we eat it. After we eat the meat,
Right.
and it's good, the flesh of it goes into the colon, right? And as we eating it, it takes 72 hours for it to pass properly through the colon, but we don't wait 72 hours. So we eat it a meal later and a meal later. So we have packed colons. And when you have a packed colon, that's where sickness and disease set the root. And when you have a colon malfunction, that makes you have, that sets the tone for Alzheimer's, dementia, fatigue, all because your colon is clogged. That's why I recommend that people annually, at least 3 times out the year, drink prune juice, hot like tea, 1 hour before bed for 21 days to prevent the colon from being clogged with age-old dead animal flesh.
Okay. And also, Tony promotes Meatless Mondays. So if nothing else for right now, start implementing Meatless Mondays. We don't eat any meat on Mondays. That's easy to do. That's an easy start.
Prune juice, hot like tea, 1 hour before bed for 21 days. On day 22, you're going to be totally amazed. Guys start staying their stomach again. They ain't seen a tool in years. It all of a sudden reappear. Women, when they stomach go, they booty grow. They get excited about it. Oh, I ain't even
And that's
playing,
complete
man.
opposite from me. I don't know about that.
So you
I
mean
wish.
to tell me, I'm sorry, you're trying to tell me that if I drink a cup of hot prune juice every night for 21 days, I'm going to lose some of my belly fat?
You're gonna lose all of your belly fat. The only thing is a problem is you got age-old animals profiling like an 88 photo up in your colon.
Just sitting there. The
Just
cows,
sitting
the
there, yeah.
chicken.
And the longer it sit, it makes disease. It makes you fatigue. Now think about when you leave meat in a refrigerator and it goes bad. So if you eating it and it ain't passing through you, it's going bad inside of you. And so it's diseasing your colon, it's malfunctioning your colon. And while your colon is malfunctioning, it makes you fatigue. And this is where we get a lot of mental disease from because our colon is clogged with age-old dead animals.
Gotcha.
So I encourage you to drink the prune juice 1 hour before bed, hot, for 21 days. And on day 22, you're going to be totally amazed.
Okay. Got it.
Straight up.
So Lena, what can we do?
Oh,
What can we do physically, right, to get
uh-huh.
fit, right, in our minds to help combat hypertension? Is there anything? Does walking help? You know, what can we do physically to get us right?
Well, everybody is different. Everybody is different. where some people may be able to walk and some people may not be able to walk. Breathing is a key. Breathing is inhaling and exhaling is a key. Meditation is a key. For me, I like to run and lift weights. For those that are under a tremendous amount of stress, cardio is always the best. It triggers the mind, it opens the mind, it elevates you as an individual. I always train my clients when I work out with my clients. We stretch, of course. We do cardio, and then we'll jump into some weightlifting, then back to some cardio, back to some stretching. I'm just a firm believer, and I've been taught from day one that you need some type of exercise every day.
Indeed.
And, it helps to relieve stress. It helps to get you right, get your mind right. It helps you to feel better. It makes you look better. And you need it to live. You need it to live a longer lifespan. There was someone that I had worked out with maybe a few months ago. He had a client that was a diabetic. He got his client to lose 60 pounds. That client ended up coming off of the medication. And I too am a firm believer that, I'm not going to say you don't need medication, but I try to stay away from the medication because it does have a lot of side effects. And next thing you know, you're going to need to be on something else for this. You're going to need to be on something else for that. I had a client that she had neurology. Was it neuropathy? Neuropathy, to where her nerves would hurt. She said it would feel like fire going through her body. And so her doctor prescribed for her, is it Lyrica or something like that? I can't remember the medication, but one of the side effects was dementia. Now you're going to give an 80-year-old lady a medication that causes dementia when you can use something maybe like a cayenne pepper capsules or a cayenne pepper ointment that is absorbed through the skin to help to get rid of that sensation, that burning sensation that she was having within her body. And don't ask me how that works, the cayenne pepper capsules, because it would seem like it would burn more, right, when you'd rub it on the skin. But that's something that she could do. I just don't see why you would give an 80-year-old lady something that is, what ended up happening was she ended up getting on the medication. She started the medication and she started to forget. So my main thing is I just try to get people off of medication if they don't need to be on it. Some people have to be on it, i.e. if you're a heart transplant patient, kidney transplant patient, or because you're, the organs in your body, the other organs will reject that new organ unless you are on some type of medication. I haven't really, I'd like to find a solution for that, an alternative solution. Maybe Tony knows, because you seem really, really knowledgeable in that area, in the food aspect area, the nutrition aspect area. But I just, that's what I believe and what I'm trying to steer towards. But my main reason for wanting to do this is because, for me, the main basis is God. Whether your God be Allah, whether your God be El Shaddai, whether your God be Jesus, everyone has a different name for God, Buddha, everyone has a different name for their God. And for me, religion is what causes separation. I hate to get off topic, but religion is what causes separation. It causes war, and because people don't understand, well, I'm not Muslim. I'm not going to get down and pray towards the sun. I'm not going to do this. Why do they look crazy doing this? Well, I'm not Catholic. I'm not going to pray to Mother Mary when, and it took me some time when they actually honor the Mother Mary. But so my main basis is to also to lead people to who God is, to let them see, to get a closer connection with God, because he is really the purpose, and he is really who's going to keep you alive, and going to keep you living, and it's going to keep you well. And, so that's, my main basis for doing what I do.
Absolutely. And when people are trying to eat right and get healthy, and they have a
Right.
trainer, they're supposed to be working out. Your trainer
Right.
isn't there all the time. Your nutritionist isn't there all the time. But God
Right.
is always there. So, if
Yeah.
he's always present, you've already prayed, Lord, please, heal me. You have to do
Mhm.
your part. He's not
Mhm.
going to, I'm not going to say he's not going to heal you, but you have to do
Right.
your part. You can't expect to, be free from, colon diseases, and you're eating meat all day every day. God can
Mhm.
do his part, but you have to do your part.
You do have to do your part.
You have to do your part. You can't put it all on him. So I absolutely agree with you. You have to have that relationship with God in order
Yeah.
to overcome a lot of these things.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no, you're good.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to like steer in a whole nother direction. But the main thing is health, but God is the key to good health. And Tony, what do you think about almonds? Because for me, I love almonds, low sodium almonds, but I did learn some years ago the saying one handful of almonds a day helps to keep prostate cancer away, which is very high in the African American community. So, what is your outlook on almonds?
Well, almonds is a superfood. So superfoods are known for opening up the veins so that blood and oxygen can properly travel through them.
Mhm.
Normally, it's only supposed three things traveling through your arteries: blood, oxygen, and the nutrients from your food. When we eat foods that are nutritious, those are the right things, and so your veins stays healthy and open, and so you don't have hot flashes or heart attacks or strokes. But when you eat foods that are not designed to go into your ultimate driver machine, your veins start to gradually shrink. And
Mhm.
so, and it shrink because the meats, land or sea, put cholesterol in your artery.
Mhm.
Doctors call it plaque. The same
Right.
plaque
Okay.
that build up on your teeth
Right.
is the very plaque that build up inside of your arteries.
Mm.
So when you eat foods like almonds, almonds help it helps the vein to stay healthy and nutrients flowing through the arteries with blood and oxygen. So almonds are very good. My
Mhm.
only thing about almonds is that I recommend that you eat almonds that are raw, lightly or salted.
Right.
If you can get in the habit of eating them raw and unsalted, you'll see far more benefits. The arch reason that prostate cancer is running rampant in our communities is simply because we are eating a diet that is not naturally designed for the ultimate driving machine. So men end up with prostate cancer. Let me just say this little piece. If blood and oxygen don't get to your brain, you have a stroke. If blood and oxygen don't get to your heart, you have a heart attack. If blood and oxygen don't get to your skin, your cells, and your tissues, you get prostate cancer, breast cancer, fibroid, thyroid, and so much more. Meat is advertised as a wonderful experience. We see it in the movies, we see the commercials, we see the cooking shows, but this meat is the biggest reason that people stop living 200, 300, 400, 500, 600 years old. When we incorporated meat diet into our diet, we start living 50, 60, 70, maybe 80, 90, and then we out of here. I asked the question on Facebook about a year ago. Who was the wisest people? The slaves who ate from the garden, fruits, nuts, veggies, beans, and grains, or the free Black people who eat whatever they so choose? Who was the smartest people dietarily? And so many people said probably the free Black people. But the free Black people started eating like the people who had once enslaved them. Think about it. The house so-called nigger was still a piece of meat from the master's plate. And that really wasn't equivalent to much. So when he took it to the plantation to share with maybe his mom or his sister or one of the family members, it wasn't much to cause heart disease and cancer. So we looked at the master meat as like, oh man, I can't wait to get some of that meat. Oh, I want some of that meat. But we couldn't attain it. It wasn't for us to eat. Only the stuff in the garden. That's why when Master got sick, he called on Big Mama, because Big Mama gonna put some of them veggies and some of that fruit together and take it to the Master and get Master healed. Superfoods to the rescue.
And you know what? Let me tell you, a good steak, rare, really rare, because I like to take in the blood. I know it sounds not good.
Medium well, please. Medium well.
But it used to be so good to me. But I have gotten to the point where I don't eat meat anymore. And now it's disgusting. It's nasty. It's just something, I tried to taste a piece the other day. I ended up spitting it out. I was out somewhere.
Congratulations.
Yeah, it's gross. And then, I had a family member that asked me, well, why'd you stop eating meat? Well, I mean, it's also not fair to the animals. I mean, well, chicken is, God put the animals here for us to eat. Not necessarily. I mean, cows they produce milk. They provide beef, but they produce milk, which is calcium. They do, they eat grass, they graze, they clear the fields. There are purposes for animals. We don't have to eat them all. Chickens, we don't have to eat chicken. Oh, by the way, we got watermelon.
We ate during the Super Bowl.
Wait. Did you serve chicken with the watermelon cake?
No, indeed.
Just kidding.
We did not. Okay, listen, guys, we got to switch gears because we can talk about.
But they produce eggs. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
Oh no, you're good.
What I'm saying is there are other reasons that the animals are here, not just for us to consume.
Not for us to eat. Absolutely. So let's switch gears really quick. We're going to talk a little bit about education, right? According to DoSomething.org, I want to talk about the high school dropout rate a little bit. And just see, what's going on with that. So according to DoSomething.org, every year 1.2 million students drop out of high school. And so what that breaks down to is about 7,000 students a day, and about every 26 seconds, a student is dropping out of high school. So that's a lot, right? So what this is boiling down to, I was unable to find an exact number of where we fit in. The numbers were all over the place and weren't accurate enough for me to report on African Americans. because
Mhm.
some reports were from 2016, some were from 2018, and then with COVID, the recent numbers, they're not solid enough for me to report on African American dropout rates. But that's a lot. When you're thinking about 26, every 26 seconds, a student is dropping out of high school, right? And I want to know how you guys felt about education. And when they do drop out, sorry, it's usually in 10th or 11th grade.
Mhm.
So I wanted to check the temperature on how you guys feel about education, higher education, college, grad school, all that good stuff. For me personally, I'm an advocate for education, but I personally don't believe that college is for everyone. However,
Mhm.
there are so many other options out there other than college. So I do want to, just kind of promote other options out there because some kids feel like you
Exactly.
either drop out of high school or you go to college. Like, what else is there? So, Lena, I'll start with you. How do you feel about education?
So education, I am definitely an advocate for education, all levels of education. I got my high school degree, I have my bachelor's, I have my master's. However, I do understand that there are many paths to different career goals, and I'm dealing with this with my younger brother now, who's 22 years old. He's at Norfolk State University, and he's like, I don't really want to be in school. I want to, pursue my passion. I really want to find out what I really want to do. And I feel like growing up, it's only one way that's advertised to students. When you go to school, your family tells you, yeah, get good grades so you go to college. And that's the only thing we see. So you feel almost like if you graduate high school and you don't have college plans or you don't have desires to go to college, you almost feel like a failure. So you tend to go to college with an undeclared major, or you tend to go to college majoring in something that your mom or your dad wants you to do, and you have no motivation, you have no passion. And with college, this is a lot of times where people are on their own for their first time. This is the first time they're making adult decisions. Do I go to class? Do I not go to class? Your mom is not there to wake you up at 7 a.m. say, hey, you have a class. Your teachers is not going to call you and ask you, why haven't you been to class? They're going to, mark you absent and give you a failing grade if you don't make up your assignments. So I think freshman year is that perfect year where you kind of figuring things out. You're searching for who you are. You're trying to figure out, okay, what type of person am I going to be? And you figuring out what you like as an adult. You're trying to find your own path in life. And with education, what I'm seeing now in elementary school, middle, and high school, a lot of teachers are burnt out. You know,
Yeah.
Teachers are not getting paid. Teachers have to deal with a lot of things that we didn't have to deal with. It like for me, I think it used to be parent student accountability. I hear horror stories from my colleagues who are teachers where the students are cursing the teachers out. Either the parents don't care or the parents are tag teaming with the student to cuss the teacher out. And so it's hard to navigate in a world where there's no respect or accountability on the student's end. And now that we're going through COVID, if the student doesn't show up on the computer, then there's no education being presented. And then you have to deal with school systems who are telling teachers you can't fail a student. So now we're passing students. We're,
Mm-hmm.
we're, we're, we're
What schools are these? Because
well, I know,
they
I know,
they
I
can't.
know, I know a few schools in Atlanta where I think the one of my colleagues was telling me the lowest grade they can give a student is like a 60.
Wow.
So so if you don't turn in your assignment, you can't give them a 0 anymore. They said that's like been a mandate. You have to give
Oh.
60, and then from the 60 they work their way up, but they can't go lower than 60. And to me, it's kind of promoting mediocrity because then you
Mm.
graduate and you are released into a world where you feel like the world owes you something, or you feel like, oh,
Yes,
I can,
entitlement.
yeah, it's almost like an entitlement. You know,
Mhm.
you're starting with a 60. And so, you know, a lot of people tell you bachelor's degrees don't really mean much. You know, you tell them, you know, bachelor's degrees are more like high school diplomas nowadays. And then you hear people say your master's degree is almost like a bachelor's degree. And I can kind of see what they're saying now. If in secondary school, you the lowest grade you can get is a 60. So you already starting on a plateau that's not even accurate, you know? And so I think a lot of times we're releasing kids into a world, even into college, and they're not prepared. Uh, a lot of students didn't even know what plagiarism was when I went to when I went to I think I went to talk. It was some school I went to talk to. I think it was Benjamin Mays High School. I went to go talk to these students. A lot of them didn't know what MLA or APA format was. They just did book reports. And so when they get to college, a lot of them end up dropping out.
Yeah.
Their grades, you know, they can't keep up. So
Well, one thing my son talks about, he's in 10th grade now.
yeah,
And one thing he says all the time is he feels like high school should have more options for
Mm.
students as far as giving them some type of a trade. Like back in the day,
Right.
like in the 50s and 60s,
yeah.
where they used to have mechanic school and cosmetology school and just
Well, they have those at the vocational schools.
Yeah,
They
so what
still.
he's saying is high schools, all public high schools should have those options. So because kids, around 14, 15, 16 years old, that's where you can really lose them, you know?
Yeah.
So while they're in high school, you can really get their attention. For those kids who don't want to go to college, most of them do want to work and want to make money some kind of way. So why not, have that option while they're in school in ninth grade, make an
but
introduction to
you
this
know,
skill,
I
learn
never,
how to fix air conditioning. I don't
yeah,
know.
I never understood in high school why we don't teach students financial literacy.
Very
Because
important.
one thing I've learned about even when I went to a HBCU is a trap of student loan debt. And people would say, well, it's y'all fault for getting student loan debt. No, because you're tricked. And I'm gonna tell you, this is how we are tricked. You Let's say you're the first in your family to go to college. So you're happy, you graduate, you're getting ready for August. Big mama and them that told everybody in your family, people buying stuff for your dorm. You get to college on the first day and they say, well, you're $10,000 short of being enrolled. The scholarship didn't come through or the scholarship wasn't enough. So you like, okay, what do I do? And they was like, well, don't worry. You are pre-approved for this $10,000 student loan. You ain't even got to worry about it until 6 months after you graduate. So as a 17, 18-year-old, you like, oh, I ain't got to worry about that till I'm 22, because when you're 17 years old, 4 years seems like a long way. You like, I just need to get enrolled right now. So you
And
tell me,
everybody's gonna be rich after they graduate. So y'all
yeah,
sign me up.
it's like you telling me if I don't accept this loan right now, then my class is gonna be purged. I don't have a place to stay. Then I'm going home and I'm a failure. And so you was like, no, sign me up for the student loan. And then next semester, yeah, just do the same thing you did. You pre-approved again. Then you graduate and you realize, okay, I have like $40,000 worth of student loan debt, but you don't quite get the dream job that you wanted because you thought you were gonna be a millionaire coming out of college. So now you're like debating if your degree was even worth it. You got people that's dropping out of college and still are responsible for paying their student loans, because what they don't tell you, even if you don't graduate, 6 months after you unenrolled from a university, the student Sally Mae is coming to knock at your door and like, where's my money? And for a lot of students, like, well, I don't even have a degree to show for it. Here I am paying on something that I don't even have. And so, you defer, then you wake up, and student loans, because of the interest rate, you you let that go for a year, and then tagged $4,000 onto what you already own, because the principal and the interest is occurring every day.
Mhm.
And that, to me, that's so crazy. I think student loans is the only debt you can't file bankruptcy with. So it's a whole scheme to get you to sign right now. Like, why is it easier for me to get $100,000 student loan than for me to go to a bank and get $100,000 for my business? And so it's like we're in this constant rat race of trying to fit society standards of saying, go to school, get you a degree, but we're not providing adequate amount of jobs for these students, especially that us mindy students once we graduate,
Absolutely.
you know?
I'm totally against student loans, and I honestly feel like if you do not have the scholarships or your family cannot afford to pay cash for your education, you need to try to do something else because student loans is not the way to go. Now, if it's not just like a little $2,000 here or there, if you got to get $10,000 and $20,000 a year for school, you might need to do something else. Because honestly, if you didn't work hard enough in high school to earn a scholarship, then college may not be for you anyway. Because a lot of states, I know in Georgia, you can get Hope Scholarship if you have an overall GPA of like a 3.3. That's not that hard, to obtain. So if you get an overall GPA of a 3.3, you can pretty much go to college for free. So you work hard, get the scholarship. Otherwise, you might want to look at something else, community college at least.
I think it's really a support system because I've seen kids who were horrible high school students, but they didn't have a support system. But they come to college and they make 4.0s. They're turning their life around,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to go against the grain of the stereotype or trying to make something with your life. Because a lot of times people just come from some horrible situations where in high school I was too young or I didn't even think about how my grades was even going to impact my future.
Mm-hmm. That's true. Family structure is important. That support at home. Absolutely true.
In 2003, I went to a seminar at George Washington University. I had disclosed to a young lady that I had met on the subway, and I told her I wanted to open up my own charter school. And so she sent me some information on going to a startup charter school seminar. And so I went to the seminar, me and my partner Hawkins, and they was asking the question, well, what do you think we should do to save what could we do to save the educational curriculum? And everybody was getting up, giving all these theoretical answers. And so finally I stood and said, the easiest way for us to get our children on track is to summons the best hip hop artists and
Really.
transform the educational curriculum into hip hop and then put it on all the 93.5 and your number one hit radio stations. And these children would know every science, every art just from a song. Now, I believe, this is my personal belief, I believe that 2021 class will be the greatest dropout in school in history. And I'm saying that because of the online learning and because there are so many irresponsible parents who are not making sure that these children are going through this online learning. And this is really a setup for failure. So if you don't have a disciplined mom or a disciplined dad that's going to get up in the morning and make sure these children are on these on these sites to learn, how are we expecting these children to get educated? Secondly, the educational curriculum is so unattractive that a child that was daydreaming in a classroom listening to the birds was disturbed by the teacher because the teacher wanted the child to pay attention to her while she teach, but the child was more interested in the birds chirping out in the window. So the educational curriculum is boring and outdated. I think it needs to be revised. I think we need to collectively come together and see what is really education. And what are we actually teaching our children? And are the stuff that we're teaching, the teachers that teaching the children, is this really beneficial? It falls back on you saying we should teach economical
Financial
education in
literacy.
the
Yeah.
school.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to add that little piece to it because the educational curriculum, in my opinion, me being a school teacher up at the Tree of Life Public Charter School from 2003, as a result of me going to that seminar, I landed a job at the Tree of Life Public Charter School up until George W. Bush came up with the law, No Child Left Behind. And because of my past felony, that means they had to leave me behind because they was the charter schools were funded through government money, and a part of the No Child Left Behind mandate was if you have felonies working in these schools, we are no longer going to fund you. So they kicked out all of the people that was instrumental to these schools, but they just had past felonies.
I'm going to say don't
Yeah.
give up on having your own school. Instead of having charter, maybe a private school. And really, they need to look deeper in that. And what was the felony? It sure wasn't against, it wasn't anything that you did against children. So I think they need to just get a little more specific with things like that. But maybe just open up a private school, and you don't have to worry
Well, my
about the government
aspirations has
funding.
changed since then, of course.
Yeah, yeah. You
Yeah.
kept it moving. I got you. So we're just going to wrap it up. We're just talking about just African Americans in the workplace. Because I know for me, when I'm working on a show that's not like an all black crew, a predominantly black crew, because I don't even know if I work in television as well. But when I'm working with, our white counterparts, I I feel like when I go to work, right, and I'm the minority, I may be the only black person on a crew. I feel like I'm representing for all of us, right? And I don't know if I'm alone in that. So I'm working every day to dispel all of the negative stereotypes, you know, that are out there about black people. Oh, we're always late. Oh, we're lazy. Oh, we're this, oh, we're that. So I find myself working hard representing for the people.
Going above and beyond.
Yes, I make sure I'm there 15 minutes early. You know, I'm
Mhm.
My work ethic is crazy. I always work hard. I always, because I love what I do. So that's nothing for me. You know what I mean? But I want to know, am I alone in that? Leena, I know as far as you being a former, officer, did you
Oh,
experience that at all?
yeah. I recently had to walk away from a job um, that I actually loved. And the reason I had to walk away from this job is because they were breaking me down to the point where I was becoming physically ill.
Mm,
And all I did was report the way. I can't say too much
right.
about it
Yeah.
for the reason that'll come out later. But I reported an issue that was going on between the way the blacks were being treated opposed to the white officers. And I'm just going to say I was a quality control manager for a company that had the DOJ contract. So you would think that if you report these issues to human resources, that they're going to fix it and do something about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And mind you, the project manager was called agent. All right, he was doing favors for the white officers. He wasn't doing for the black officers. You go and you report these issues, and there were some other things going on. You go and report these issues, but guess what? Now I'm considered to be bringing down the morale. Okay,
that happens a lot.
when months prior to, I was given an award for outstanding performance, So, I mean, they, once when I reported these issues, we're going to change your work schedule. Oh, go ahead and you take these extra assignments. Oh, we need emails on when you come to and from work. Oh, no, you can't start here. You got to start there. I mean, it was just numerous things. And it got
started.
Harassment,
Mm-hmm.
big time, retaliation.
Mm-hmm.
And it got to the point where I could not take care of myself I wasn't right mentally. I couldn't take care of my kid, but it got to a point where I had to walk away. And I'm just going to say it. Under this Trump regime, people didn't just lose their jobs due to COVID. They lost their jobs because of things like this. And no one seems to realize that, it's not just COVID, but under this regime, people were put out of their jobs, had to leave their jobs. There was a lot of, racism, retaliation, if you were, if they were threatened by you, if you had some type of intelligence, they wanted you gone. They didn't want you there.
Oh, absolutely. And that's exactly it. That's how it is. Unfortunately, and
on top of that, with you, being a female too, how hard it is, and a man, quote unquote, man's world,
and in that field, and in law enforcement.
Right.
I mean,
well, in your field as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, listen, you guys, unfortunately, we do have to wrap it up. It's just some good stuff. We've learned a lot. We've talked a lot about food and getting healthy in our minds and our bodies, and what to eat, what not to eat, staying healthy as far as moving around. And everything isn't for you. Every body is different. Every body, like Leena said, is different. So you have to kind of tune into yourself and know what works for you may not work for me, right? Leno, thank you so much for just contributing to the conversation and your bit on education. I definitely respect your work ethic is amazing. I didn't even know you had a master's. Where'd you get your master's degree from?
Full Sail University.
Okay, absolutely.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, congratulations.
Absolutely, congrats. Thank you, Tony, so much for your wealth of knowledge and information on plants.
Thank you, Tony. I'll be reaching out to you through LaDonya.
Okay.
Well, thank you guys so much for joining me tonight on Candid Conversations. And I hope that we will be able to take some things away, and so that we can get better with our daily lives and just move forward into 2021.
Yay!
Great year.
Yep. Amen.
Thank you guys.
Thank you, LaDonya. All right, nice to meet you.
I'm a southern girl, yeah, I'm from the dirty south. See it in Milwaukee, here coming out my mouth. Mob town to A-town, you can walk it out. Real shooters, real gangsters, ain't no talk it out.